Alright, the important thing to know here is that you will get the Enhanced Edition for free if you already have the original trilogy on your library, or like me for example, whether it's Steam, GOG, Epic Games, whatever. If you're like me, you already own the original trilogy, on May 20th, in about like 2 days, you will get the Enhanced Edition for free, okay? If you only have, let's say, Shadow Chernobyl and Call of Pripyat, you will only get Shadow Chernobyl and Call of Pripyat Enhanced Edition. You will not get Clear Sky, okay? On the other hand, if you don't own the original trilogy and you decide to buy it, you will also get the Enhanced Edition for free. And on the other way around as well, if you decide to buy the Enhanced Edition, you will get the original trilogy for free, all right? And also, just like the first one, if you only decide to buy, let's say, Clear Sky Enhanced Edition, you will only get Clear Sky, the original one, right? You will not get the other two, obviously. All right, so hopefully this makes sense. This is probably the most important thing to keep in mind, right? So, as we know, the Stalker Legends of the Zone Trilogy Enhanced Edition is coming out on May 20th, so in about like 2 days. Here are the trailers, as you can see right here. We're gonna talk about a little bit about the trailers, as you can see here, and we will also take a look at what exactly changed in basically the Enhanced Edition, and about like some modding stuff, etc. Right? So we have the trailers here, as you can see: Clear Sky, Shadow Chernobyl, Call of Pripyat, and this one, Legends of the Zone. Basically, it's a recap of all these three trailers right here. What you need to know about the trailers is that basically, if you never played the original games, these trailers do contain a little bit of spoilers, so just keep that in mind. There's like a lot of like cutscene spoilers, and especially some mutant spoilers. So if you don't know what the mutants do, then seeing the trailers will spoil some abilities of those mutants. And in Stalker, it's better to meet them for the first time in game, because that contributes to like the horror and the intensity of your first experience, which is what Stalker is about. All right, so it's better if you just meet them first time in game rather than watching the trailers. They do contain a little bit of spoilers, but not too much, so if you just like scroll through it, you should probably be fine. But I just thought that this would be like a good heads up, right? So this is about the trailer. If you want to check them out, you can just basically check them out on GSC Game World official channel for Stalker 2, as you can see right here. All right, so what exactly changed in this basically Enhanced Edition? The TLDR, they just changed like texture stuff, lighting stuff, like reflection, witness, some NPC models, some gun models and FOV, some like they modernized a little bit of like the UI, the HUD elements as well, to be a little bit more in line with the latest iteration, which is Call of Pripyat, right? So they did like modernize a little bit of like everything, like a little bit of controls and the mechanics. They did add some quality of life features. They didn't really specify what features, what these features are, but they did like some modifications. They fixed a lot of like scripting stuff, like some dialogues not working properly, some dialogues and cutscenes, and like scripted events not triggering properly, some like the classic bugs, right? So they did fix a lot of bugs, a lot of mechanics, a lot of controls and all that. However, they didn't change, basically they didn't change anything about the story, the gameplay, the gun balance, the economy of the game. Nothing in terms of gameplay, only like just like some fixes and bug fixes, right? So nothing in the, like the game is still the same, just the coding is basically new, right? So hopefully that makes sense. And also they did like some support for like 4K ultra wide, full support for controller on PC, full support for keyboard and mouse on console as well. They added the FSR upscaling technology. You can actually use upscaling with FSR from AMD on the games now, which is pretty good. And yeah, that's basically it. that's basically the general scope of what they changed. But now let's just take a look at the details a little bit more closer. This is also the system requirements. I'm not gonna go through it now. I will do a separate video, probably after recording this one. I'll record again and I will do a system requirements one, because I like to analyze stuff, tech power-up stuff and all that. So if you're interested in that, just wait a little bit after this video and you will probably get the system requirements as well. All right, so let's take a look at the details. So we have this, as we talked earlier, it's gonna come out at May 20th. So on May 20th, in about like 2 days or whatever. And as I said, if you already own the trilogy, you will get the enhanced edition for free, etc., etc. Basically what I said in the beginning. So is it possible to purchase the enhanced edition separately? Yes, it is possible to purchase it separately, as we said, or as a bundle. I mean, it's up to you. Will the enhanced edition support cross-platform? No, it's not gonna have cross-platform saves and no cross-platform buying as well. So the saves are separate, so just keep that in mind. And also, like if you want to basically, if you have it on PC and you want to play it on console, you have to also buy it on console. So there's no like sharing between platforms. So hopefully that makes sense. Will there be a physical version of the enhanced edition? No, there's not going to be any physical versions. Basically the enhanced edition will be available in all regions on Steam. Basically same regions as Stalker 2 Hard to Turn Normal, so keep that in mind. There's not going to be any plans for like special editions or like collector's editions and all that, so just keep that in mind. Will owners of the Legends of the Zone own consoles? So yes, what we talked in the beginning, the important thing, it also applies to consoles. So if you have the original trilogy on console, you will also get the enhanced edition for free on console as well. So keep that in mind. Are there any plans to release Stalker 2 Stalker Enhanced Edition on other platforms? Yes. On Nintendo Switch, no, but on the other platforms, yes, basically PS5, consoles, and PC, right? Obviously. Is cross-platform purchasing, as we talked in this point right here? No, you will have to buy it separately on separate consoles, obviously. It will natively support 4K now, which is pretty good. Ultra-wide as well, if you have an ultra-wide or a custom resolution, it will support that. Very good. Frame rate can be expected on PlayStation 5 and all that. As you can see right here, it will have like the upscaling stuff. It will have multiple modes for like performance and stuff, as you can see right here, and this part right here as well. I'm not really gonna go too deep in this. Maybe I'll go through it in the system requirements one, but as you can see, there is like the classic quality mode, balance mode, performance, and ultra performance. But you do need to use them. You do need a variable refresh rate monitor or TV, so just keep that in mind. All right, so will scaling technology be supported? A huge one. They actually implemented FSR scaling on the Stalker Classic Trilogy, which is pretty good. So you can actually use FSR from AMD to basically upscale your internal resolution and basically have a good looking game with better FPS if your PC cannot really handle the new requirements, right? So this is really good. You can actually use FSR with the games now, which is pretty good, right? So how much disk space? They do say here 10, but if we take a look at the chart here, they do say 8. And on Steam, I think they say 12, so I'm not really sure what's happening there, but around 10 gigabytes. The original ones are around like 5 gigs or something, but the new one, it's basically like upscaled textures and a lot of like new stuff added visually and all that. So, you know, it kind of doubles the size a little bit, which is fine. I mean, it's around like 10 for each game, not that bad, right? So, will the Enhanced Edition feature achievements, trophies, cards on Steam? Yes, it will have its separate PlayStation stuff, Steam cards that you can earn, achievements and all that, because as we know, the Classic Trilogy does not have achievements on Steam and on like other platforms as well, so just keep that in mind. It will have its own like achievements and all that, I think just like the consoles one, right? So that's pretty good. Alright, so what actually changed in the Enhanced Edition? As we can see here, it is optimized for SSD. It will work on hard drives, but as you know, the classic trilogy is separated into like levels. So if you transition from like a map to the other map, if you have a hard drive, it will take a while to load. So it's recommended to use an SSD to basically make those loading screens seamless, right? For example, I have an SSD, and when I play the classic trilogy or whatever, like it takes maybe like 2 seconds to transition, so it's pretty fast, also depending on your CPU, but mostly on the SSD it is pretty fast, so just keep that in mind. Will the Enhanced Edition use DualSense features, adaptive triggers on PS5? Yes, it will have full control on that, which is pretty good. Graphical improvements, as we can see, as I said in the beginning, texture stuff. We have, as you can see right here, skyboxes enhancements on God rays and overall lighting system, refined surface reflections, some effects on like wetness and all that, on like roads and guns and models and all that, improved 3D models for NPCs and guns as well. They do have upscaled textures for greater detail, and also some UI and HUD elements have been changed to be a little bit more in line and a little bit more modernized, right? But nothing too crazy. They still have like the original feel of the game. I think they didn't like go really crazy and just like change completely the UI. I think they just like enhanced it a little bit, which is pretty good. And the lighting system, they do implement some sort of ray tracing, which is like the first phase of ray tracing, which is like the dynamic lighting and the God rays, the global illumination as well. So that's pretty good. As you can see, reflection skyboxes, as we said here. So there is some sort of ray tracing in the game, so the lighting will be even more enhanced, which is pretty good, right? So sounds and basically audio, they did some improvements, nothing too crazy. They didn't change a lot of things, but they did improve the quality of the audio, which is pretty good. Game mechanics and basically controls, inventory and all that, as we said, UI, HUD, etc. They did, as you see here, various controls were changed and adjusted to be more in line with the current game practices, right? So they did modernize the feel of the controls, the mechanics, basically how, like, I'm not sure exactly what they changed, but they do say they basically modernize it. And also quality of life features, as I said in the beginning, not sure what this means exactly, but they did add some quality of life features, so that is pretty much good, right? Have new features or content been added? No, basically they didn't change any of the story, the side quests, the dialogue, the scripting and all that. Nothing has been changed, as they say here. Those stories are legendary the way they are. We haven't changed, we haven't added new content, etc, etc, right? So that's pretty good. They didn't change anything about that. Bugs from the original have been fixed in the Enhanced Edition. Yes, they did fix a lot of like dialogue bugs, scripting bugs, scripted scenario bugs, cutscenes not triggering properly, some crashes in certain like locations, you know, all those things, they have been fixed. Basically, I mean, obviously not all, I would assume, not all of them, but most of them have been fixed, which is pretty good, right? They didn't change anything about the AI of the mutants and combat and all that, and they didn't change anything about the A life as well. So it is still the same, which is pretty good, right? So no need to worry there. And side quests, dialogues, etc., same thing as the first one right here. They didn't change any of the gameplay, any of the dialogue, side quests, story. They didn't change anything. It's still the same game, which is pretty good. Also, weapon balance, game economy, they didn't change anything of that. They just enhanced like the models and all that, right? So nothing has been changed, just visually, just basically a new coat of painting, right? Which is pretty good. Now, let's take a look at the multiplayer. The multiplayer on the classic versions have like the PvP, deathmatch and all that, but the Enhanced Edition will only be focused on the single player aspect, so keep that in mind, and there's not gonna be any co-op, right? Now, localization. They did rework the Ukrainian localization for the game, and they basically just now have a full Ukrainian text, dedicated Ukrainian voice acting for the dialogue, which is pretty good. So they have a full rework of like basically the Ukrainian language, very good. Will languages be supported for text and acting and all that? This is basically all the subtitles that you can have, as you can see right here, and this is all the subtitles plus the the voice acting, like full voice acting as well, right? So these are the languages. And the technical questions and support. Will there any content updates and DLCs and all that? No, they're not planning to do any DLCs and everything else. They will have full gamepad support on PC and full keyboard and mouse support on consoles. So that's pretty good. The game is also optimized for Steam Deck. So if you have a Steam Deck, you can basically have the Enhanced Edition and play it there, which is pretty good. And anything bugs, if you find bugs and some weird thing happening, you want support and all that, you can basically just contact the tech support team, right? So this is pretty good. Now, the final thing is we're going to talk about these points right here, which is the mods. Mods for the classic games will not work on the Enhanced Edition, obviously. So basically, you cannot install the mods for the classic trilogy into the enhanced one, right? The enhanced one will have their own mods, right? So keep that in mind. And the saves will not transfer from edition to edition, right? So if you have the saves on the classic trilogy, it will not work on the enhanced trilogy as well. So keep that in mind. And it will also support Steam Workshop, so you can find the mods in Steam Workshop if the community decides to put them there. And also, if you are a modder, I'm pretty sure you already know about this, you can basically read the mod guideline about like restrictions, what you should include in your mods and all that, just to keep everything legal, right? So this is about it, about basically what changed in the general scope of the Enhanced Edition. We don't really have the exact details of what changed and the exact features and all that, so we don't know yet, but this is basically the general scope of what changed in this new basically Enhanced Edition. All right, so hopefully this makes sense. Now as a last point, my thoughts about the Enhanced Edition. Again, I'm not really sure. I mean, it is pretty good. Like, my final thoughts about it, from what I've seen at least, I think this is really good for new players. Like, for existing players, I don't think it's like anything too crazy for existing fans and all that, because we already have like the mods. Like, the modding community is crazy, right? We already have like a lot of mods. I mean, if you want to replay the originals, for me personally, I'm not gonna replay it like unmodded, right? Like, I'm just gonna play like Radiophobia 3 or LFO or ABR, Gunslinger, Open X-Ray, right? They have insane graphics, and on top of that, they also have, you know, like insane like modded mechanics, better like animations, item usage and all that. So they do have all of those as well, which is way better than the original, right? So as an existing player, you're probably gonna play a modded version of the original trilogy, right? But for new players, this is huge, because most new players, when they see the original trilogy and they want to get into Stalker, most people recommend to them the vanilla, right? And which is the right thing, by the way. You should play vanilla first, but most people, like, they don't have too much tolerance for like old games and all that. They don't really feel comfortable and satisfaction in like playing an old game. Like, it's too janky, the visuals are bad and all that, so like that repels most new players. But now they have modernized the original trilogy, and it's still vanilla, and it's like how the devs intended, so basically this counts as vanilla, right? So new players will now can basically enjoy the original trilogy and get into Stalker, right? They can get into Stalker and they can enjoy it modernized, right? And they will not be repelled with like bad graphics or like old game mechanics or all that. So everything has been modernized, which is real good. So this is a really good way to bring up basically new players. So if you have like a new player and you want to recommend Stalker, basically just tell them to basically play the Enhanced Edition straight away, and they will have a really amazing time, because like everything is modernized and they will feel right at home, and they will not like feel like, oh, this is too old or whatever, right? So this is pretty good, right? For new players, really good. Experienced players and already existing fans, not really sure. I mean, it is great. Like, I'm probably gonna play them anyways, right? I mean, you have to try them, right? I'm gonna play them anyways, but I mean, you're not gonna like, it's not like too crazy, right? Let's just say that, right? So this is basically my thoughts on the Enhanced Edition for Legends of the Zone Stalker, right? And yeah, I mean, if you want to check the trailers again, you can find them here. If you never played the games, probably don't watch them, or do just skim through it or whatever. And that's about it. So yeah, this is basically what changed in the Enhanced Edition. Hopefully this video was helpful. After this video, I will record the system requirements stuff, so keep an eye on that if you want to basically know if your PC can handle the new Enhanced Edition, because I mean, there's a lot of like upscale stuff, new ray tracing stuff and all that, so just keep that in mind. The requirements did go up a little bit, as you can see right here, but in the video coming up, I will use like tech power up to tell you basically like if you don't have your card mentioned here, I will help you figure out if you can run it or not, etc., and what you need and all that, right? So keep an eye on that video. Other than that, hopefully this video was helpful. Again, as usual, if it was, please do me a favor and subscribe and like the video, share it around as well if you want. It will greatly support the channel. And other than that, you can check out my other videos right here if you want to check like benchmarks, Stalker stuff, Stalker Gamma stuff. If you want like modding, how to get into Stalker, Stalker lore and all that, you can basically check them out on the screen right here. And yeah, other than that, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video coming up, and good hunting, Stalkers.